This 1700-era embroidery element drawing provided the original idea for this forging. Notice that the discs taper while the central axle diameter stays constant. The taper occurs by varying the groove spacing. More material is isolated between the grooves. Because more material is isolated, it will squeeze out into a larger diameter disc. A tapered series of discs will appear after squeezing. Once the grooves have been forged, wider isolated segments can be hammered. This will narrow the disc enough for the pliers to fit them for squeezing in the next steps. The forging sequence follows. I start with this bottom tool and a curved cross peen hammer. Each of the discs can now be squeezed with the pliers. The bottom tool is useful throughout this process. The groove must be close to the axle. This maximizes material in the disc. More material can thus be squeezed to produce a larger diameter. In addition, it maintains a crown on the outer disc and avoids unfolding of the crown. If that happens, it looks like a double disc, shown next. The heavier tongs allow maximal pressure to further flatten the disc and thus expand its diameter. Here is the final string of tapered discs. The smallest has been cupped. More discs could be added by using the additional isolated segments if desired. Earlier I mentioned that wide isolated segments must be narrowed down and the crown maintained before squeezing. Otherwise the crown would unfold and result in a double disc. Here is a double disc. It is also an attractive element. Tapering the tube before making the grooves does not work well. This is because tapering thickens the wall. The added thickness makes a thin disc more difficult to make. This is a string of discs cut in half. The top shows thin-walled tube with a fully squeezed and cupped disc, and also a partially squeezed disc. The bottom shows a thicker-walled tube. The disc will be harder to squeeze tightly. The previous cutaway shows a cupped disc. You can see in this close-up how the cupping decreased the disc diameter. When cupping in different size isolated segments are combined, a beautiful string of tapered discs is the result.